Hi, I'm Private First Class Aaron Neiman, serving in Baghdad, Iraq, the 32nd IVCT, and you're watching In the Trenches, only on Time Warner Cable 6. Go Army!
Thank you, PFC. Well, Army Brass recently announced they've reached an agreement to begin a home-and-home football series with the San Diego State in 2011. The Aztecs will make the trip east to Michie Stadium in 2011. The Black Knights will head west the following year to play their first game in California since 1983, the year they played Navy in the Rose Bowl. Well, some other teams that will be making their way to Michie Stadium in the next couple of years includes Hawaii and North Texas next season. In a couple of years, Northwestern and Hofstra will travel to the Hudson Valley to play the Black Knights to absorb a Black Knights beatdown. The Seawolves of Stony Brook visit in 2012, Western Kentucky the following year, the Spartans of San Jose State in 10 years from now, and then make way for the Oklahoma Sooners in 2020. Let's see, that'll be In the Trenches season 14. By that time, I think my son Jaden may be hosting this show. Well, the Black Knights have a habit of traveling to Philadelphia to take on Navy, but this week they'll visit the city of brotherly love to play the Temple Owls. Here's what Army head coach Rich Ellerson said about the team's next opponent during his weekly press conference.
The challenge is, can we maintain, can we reinvigorate that sense of urgency, that urgency to improve as we go into this week's practice, because there is certainly no lack of things in any game like that comes down to a single play. The game turns on a single play 100 times, and we have to look at that just as we did a week ago and look at those things and again enter the practice environment with the same sense of urgency to improve, knowing that that's our only chance. If we'll do that, if we have a chance next week. If we don't do that, if we don't improve, if we don't see those things, we'll really, we're in trouble because we're playing another quality opponent. Temple's coming off 3 consecutive wins. They've got some. They do some things that are tough. They've got some good players. They're very athletic. And as I say, they've won 3 games in a row. They're starting to feel it. They've got great confidence. They do the things that win. They just dominate in the turnover ratio. So again, we have our hands full. It's a little bit of an uphill climb, but one we're anxious to get into. Again, it'll come down to our preparation.
Hi, Coach. Rich DeMarco, Army Sports Network. If you just talk about Temple and what you think maybe some of the critical matchups are going to be.
Well, there are 2 things that are just jump right out at you when you look at Temple is their running game. Pierce, freshman running back. If you remember, young man's last week, number 27, just a nightmare. Well, more of the same coming this week, and this guy's very he does it all. He get the tough yards. If he finds a crease, he can exploit it. He's hard to tackle. Really a dangerous guy. And the other thing that they've done that's in their wins that's really remarkable is their ability to get the ball out. They're creating turnovers. They attack the football. Something we like to think we pride ourselves on that we do well. These guys. These are not giveaways that they're inheriting. These guys, they're going out, they're earning these takeaways. They're getting the ball out. They're winning the fight for the ball in the air. They're putting their face on the ball. It's really remarkable, and we have to match that. It's like last week we talked a little bit about the kicking game. We had to counter a great kicking game with a great kicking special teams performance. We're going to have to be up to that task. We have to be able to negate or match that part of their effort, that part of their team's personality, because it really is it's something else.
And just speak about the play of Andrew, maybe after looking at the films, Andrew Rodriguez off of Saturday's game.
Again, just as I said after the game, Andrew continues to be remarkably productive in a position that doesn't necessarily lend itself to that. His expectation, the expectation that the defense has for him is that he's going to get us lined up. He's going to help us get into, he's going to put the final touches on the call that we're making from the sideline based on the threat that the other team presents when they get to the line of scrimmage. And then he's going to cancel a gap, cancel a running back, do something that's functional in the defense. To have the kind of production that he's managed the first half of this year from that position really speaks to his athleticism and his maybe less about his athleticism as his nose for the football. He sees the game remarkably well, and given the opportunity, he'll make a play for you.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead in the back, Clemson.
Coach, Clemson Smith-Muniz from Army in Espanol. I think I'm seeing a bit more pressure from the defense than I'm used to from Army. You have 37 tackles for loss, 12 sacks, 8 interceptions, 5 fumble recoveries. Is that by design, and are you happy with the result?
Well, the system is, we build ourselves as an attacking unit. It's an attacking defense. We want our base front and our base coverage to look to our opponent. They perceive us as that's pressure. Those guys are coming after us. We want to now, as you've heard me say, maybe coming out of spring, I felt like the strength of this football team was its defensive front. That's a good thing because most great teams I've been associated with, that was the case, that the defensive front led the charge. Our guys have played well at most of this year. The arrow needs to stay up. So all that pressure you're saying is not always pressure. We don't call as much pressure as maybe we have in the past when I've been with this system. But we're able to generate that with 4 and 5 guys, 4.5 guys. All those things that our opponents talk about, I think this week Temple does a great job of winning the fight for the ball in the air, getting the ball on the ground. To do that, you've got to play on your opponent's side of the ball consistently. That's where that stuff happens. The quarterbacks throw you the ball when there's somebody in their face. Balls end up on the ground when there's contact before the running back is anticipating it, typically. And then they finish plays by going and attack. Second and third guy in are going to attack the football. That needs to be us this week. That's the direction we're heading. We're giving ourselves a chance by playing our opponent's side of the line of scrimmage. We're doing a good job in the takeaways. We need to do a great job. So is it by design? Yes. Are we as good as we could be, need to be? Not yet.
Well, Temple enters Saturday's game with a record of 3-2. The last time these two teams played each other was last year's season opener at Michie Stadium. Temple won that game 35-7. Well, lock it up. We're not finished yet. Saturday's best coming up when we return in 2 minutes. Give me 50 push-ups and then recover. Begin. Welcome back to In the Trenches. Now, who's the backbone of the Army? You should know this. It's the NCO Corps, of course. That's who. The guys who make it happen. Time to tell you who made it happen on the football field this past weekend, earning our hit of the game. And that honor is going to go to Army Junior Free Safety Donovan Travis. He unloads on the Vandy ball carrier. Travis continuing the tradition in recent years of hard-hitting Army safeties, the likes of Caleb Campbell, Jordan Murray, and Lowell Garthwaite. For our play of the game, let's revisit overtime. Vandy's Warren Norman thinks he's about to give the Commodores the lead. Think again, son. Andrew Rodriguez rips the ball out of Norman's arms at the 1-yard line, resulting in the touchback. Army ball, the play of the game, and possibly at this point of the season, the play of 2009. Let's hope, though, bigger plays are still to come. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of In the Trenches. I'm Christian Farrell. Thanks for watching. Now drop your mag and put your weapon on safe. Our business is done here. And oh yeah, go Army. Beat Navy.